All right, last week we had an easy 4-0. This week started out pretty rough with a round 1 loss, but now we're playing for all the marbles here at 2-1, and my hand's pretty solid. So obviously not a lot of interaction against combo and whatnot, but most of the decks in Legacy are pretty fair. This deck appears to be fair. Guessing Miracles could obviously be some weirdo Omnitel deck, but I'm expecting some Miracles. Hopefully it doesn't counterbalance me, because I don't have an Abrupt Decay quite yet, but I don't have any 1s, so that's good. And counterbalance is in. So he's fetching around Wasteland, which is pretty understandable. I'm just going to get a Tropical Island here. I don't have to fear like Blood Moon or anything really out of these decks. And I'm not really too scared about getting wasted off my green source, so I can just get a blue-green land instead of a Bayou, and I'm fine with just 1 green. And he just naturally counterbalances my Tarmogoyf, so that's a beat. That is a beating. So now he's got the 1 and 2s on lock, and I'm probably just going to fire off a Shardless next turn, and I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. We got to draw an Abrupt Decay pretty soon. Obviously, you could start hitting him with Tar Pit or whatever, but that's not a great solution either. So we'll just get another Underground Sea. Yeah. Stupid dual lands. I do like that he has to counterbalance before the Cascade. That's kind of nice. But 2-2 shouldn't be a big deal for him anyway. 2-2 plus 3-2 might be pretty good. And I guess I'll cast this Death Right. Just gonna get countered. Put a card in my graveyard for the old Dig Through Time. And we're just playing 3-mana 2-2 at this point. Just the old Grey Ogre. This is not a great start. Definitely wanted a Force or a Discard Spell or a Planeswalker or an Abrupt Decay. So we had a lot of things to... We have a lot of things naturally to just not get counterbalance locked, but sometimes this happens. He has swords on top as well. So Tar Pit, probably not long for this world if I ever do fire it up. But he's just going to shuffle it away. So I don't mind that. And he swords my Shardless. Interesting. Just does not want to be taking any beats. I wonder if that means he's just like swords flooded or what? Because generally you don't swords a 2-2 in the face of a Tar Pit. Maybe he doesn't know if I'm going to get like super aggressive with it or not, but still interesting. Going for the main phase Brainstorm, so I could also just be juggling a Terminus at this point. There's not a ton I can do about that. So probably just going to go for a Dig Through Time and hope to find a Decay. And I don't know if he drew that counterspell or not. It would be kind of weird for him to shuffle it away if he didn't draw it. I don't know. I'm just going to dig right now because if he wants to counter it, then he has to break his fetch. It's much easier playing against these people in real life because you can generally tell where they're juggling cards with top. Not many people do too much work to actually try and hide what they're actually drawing. So just a little tip, if you guys ever play this deck. He's looking for his own Dig Through Time, I think, to try and counter this thing. But counterbalance has worked us over pretty good so far. So even if we do find a Decay, now I'm kind of flooded. So I think... Oh, he did find a Dig Through Time. Man. So gross. I think my perfect two were Brainstorm and Decay. So I could Decay counterbalance and then Brainstorm away some of these lands and try and get something going. But he just counters my Dig, and I'm basically dead at this point since I'm so flooded. So yeah. Not used to getting worked over by counterbalance this badly, but it does happen. So now I can try and get a Strix out there. And I think I'm just going to save that for next turn. I'm going to tar pit him this turn. Drew another land. So things are getting worse and worse, as if that were really possible at all. But tar pit actually hits him. And he Vendilions me. Sure, man. What do you want? Anything? Oh, he actually took my Strix. That is hilarious. So, presumably does not have a 2 on top. And, well, we might be able to get a little something going here. Play out this Deathrite. See if he has to flip his top to counter it. And then if that's the case, then we can fire off this Brainstorm and try and get something going. Gonna top again. Sure. Fetch. Okay. So looking for a 1. Knows I'm up to something, probably. I'll move this stack down here so we can actually see his lands, see what's going on here. Alright, now he's brainstorming. Interesting. Keeps doing a bunch of weird stuff. And reveals another brainstorm. Okay, that did not work out well. And kind of tempted to kill his Tundra here, so he can't entreat me. So right now I'm winning this race. I generally think my lands are more important than theirs, because it's pretty easy for them to just find another land. Like their mana's not very taxing on them. Yeah, I was just gonna dig. Blah. I'm so dead. Curious that he's removing all of his instants and leaving lands. I would assume this deck plays Snapcaster, and my Smart Miracles opponents typically just exile all the lands because of Deathrite Shaman. Like, obviously he has top counterbalance, so Deathrite Shaman's not a big deal right now, but it could be. I probably, don't need it for mana, I guess, so maybe he's right. But still, just like exiling, Swords, for example, when I have a Tar Pit and you might have Snapcaster in your deck is probably not the best play. And I'd be shocked if he just wasn't playing Snapcaster. That'd be very strange. So this game has gone about as poorly as possible, but I have to keep playing because I don't know that I'm dead for sure. Like, maybe Tar Pit just kills him. Maybe he just never finds the swords or whatever. I don't know. Does have another top, so now all my 1s are basically on lock for forever, so there's no point doing what I did before with the Deathrite thing. So, alright, Tar Pit, let's go. Choo-choo. If I draw a Decay, we have some action. So that'd be kind of nice. And he just does have swords. Okay. Pretty unfortunate. This game has been a series of unfortunate events. Could just draw a Jace also. That'd be pretty good. Forest. Not really what we're looking for. Gonna hold this land for Brainstorm in case I actually draw Decay. And it looks like our Wasteland did some okay work, did keep him off double white. That could just be him not caring too much, wanting to draw spells every turn instead of lands, but he's got 4 cards in hand. There's a Tarmogoyf. I guess I'll try this. Not really doing anything else. Counterbalance on top, so even if I decay him, he's just going to reassemble his lock pretty quickly. So the turn that we have, we're going to have to make count. And I haven't seen a volcanic out of him yet, so I'm not sure if going into game 2 I need to be super scared of Blood Moon. He does have Tarns, but it's pretty normal for this deck to have Tarn. Just because you can, you know, bluff that you have red cards and whatnot. I think we can actually crack one of these fetches, too. Get the Swamp. There's a Jace. Might be a little too late, though. I'll certainly give it a spin, see what happens. Counterspell, great. Man, we just got annihilated this game. Just not close at all. Don't think I had a card in play for more than a turn. Basically didn't resolve anything. Counterbalance is kind of a messed up card at times, so... We'll just keep passing here, get a little more time off his clock. It's entirely possible that he times out with all his topping and whatnot, so... Bang. So definitely want this Maelstrom Pulse and this Notion Thief. Pithing Needle, Null Rod. Hymn to Torok is okay. Baleful Strix is kind of bad. Just mopey. It's not bad if he has Vendilion, I guess. And I don't mind siding out a Tarmogoyf here. Guess I could see keeping Strix since he has the whatchamacallits. Could probably cut a Wasteland. Could see cutting a Wasteland for a Strix. Yeah, we're going to do that. I don't mind Thoughtseize here. Him's okay also. Yeah, we'll see here. We'll see what happens. Hand's pretty good. Thing I'm mostly worried about is suspending Ancestral when I don't have an answer to Counterbalance, so that could end up being kind of poor for me. Okay, Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize might change things. Yeah, let's go with Thoughtseize. I was going to go Brainstorm Deathray Shaman, but don't have a ton of cards in hand. Might want to wait on Brainstorm until we're a little flooded. His hand is stacked. Jeez. Entreat, Swords, Counterbalance, Counterbalance, Brainstorm, Digs, and a Strand. So definitely taking this Brainstorm. Because he has a lot of pretty bad cards. If I were him, I might have wanted to Brainstorm in response to that Thoughtseize. So we'll get the Trop and play out Deathrite. Presumably this is going to get plowed. Which I'm A-okay with. Tarmogoyf represents a bigger clock and we don't really need the mana. But could certainly run afoul of Counterbalance this game as well. So we're going to start with a Brainstorm, probably shuffle away the Strix if we get the opportunity to. Hopefully this does not get counterbalanced. Batterskull enters the revealed card zone, so that's kind of interesting. Okay, we got a lot of business. Put back Strix and Delta and play Tarmogoyf. Looks good to me. Still searching for the illustrious Abrupt Decay that always seems to elude me, but he does have another counterbalance. I'm just going to get Bayou, I think. Counterbalance, not so scary when he doesn't have a top. And I'm just going to force this Brainstorm, I think. I don't want him to set up for a land in 2 turns for Ancestral, plus he has so many bad cards in his hand. He has Entreat, Batterskull, second counterbalance, Dig. He has an island on top. And we drew a Decay, so that's great. So now we get to hit him, and if he doesn't commit a second counterbalance, we can just kill his counterbalance and kind of make sure that our Ancestral resolves. So that's sweet. So obviously he could just have a hard counterspell here. Entreat, Batterskull. No, I know his entire hand. So he doesn't have a counterspell, so my Ancestral's definitely coming off. And why'd he reveal? Guess he's probably just going to dig anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Still kind of funny, though. Maybe we can draw a Thoughtseize or something to get his other counterbalance. Yeah, if he wants to dig for a force here, that's fine. We'd have to exile his other counterbalance, probably. So I'm definitely looking for a Planeswalker. That's what I want the most. If I get, like, land Jace off this Ancestral, if it resolves, that'd be pretty insane. Alright. Nothing really of the sort, but we do have a Wasteland. Kind of surprised to not get swords there. So now we might just run out Shardless. Can't Terminus us. And his hand is still clunky and bad. So I don't have a ton going on right now, so I kind of just want to up my clock a little bit here. And another Ancestral, why not? Bang. Alright, I like our spot now. Yeah. So good, so good. Plains, another counterbalance, no big deal. Still have yet to see red out of him. And I'm going to decay this to make it a 2-turn clock. And we'll see if he does his normal reveal. Does not. So that's 6. And then I think we're just playing Dig Through Time here. No, it's safer to play Null Rod. He can play top and top into Terminus, but if I play Null Rod, this is much safer. We only have to dig after he deals with our stuff. Yeah, cool. Well, that game was a delight. Definitely like shaving on Tarmogoyf. The other Strix could go, I think. Vendillion's not going to be... Well, Vendillion kind of messes with my Planeswalkers a little bit. And then it kind of spreads my Abrupt Decays a little thin. If he's going to keep hands like that, though, I kind of want some hymns. Could see myself cutting another Goyf and mostly just winning with Planeswalkers. Planeswalkers and card advantage. You can also see just cutting a Force of Will. I like having some, but not a ton. So I kind of want Ostrix, but I think this is okay. We'll see how it goes. One game for everything. It's always fun when it comes down to that. All right, this hand is great. This hand is great. So no disruption really, but I do have removal for counterbalance. If he plays a top, that's going to be kind of bad for me, but maybe I can find a Needle or Null Rod. And basically, like always, I think suspending turn 1 is better than Death Rat. I'm not really ramping to anything. So I'd rather this Ancestral just starts ticking down. And he has a counterbalance. So no big deal. No big deal. I could just try and jam Goyf, but I don't want to run the risk of him actually blind countering it, because that would be pretty bad for me. So instead, I'll just decay it, and then we'll probably go Thoughtseize Tarmogoyf on the next turn. And then if he's like sandbagging another counterbalance or something, then we can snag that. And actually make him fight over this Ancestral. So blow that thing up, get out of here. And he revealed a Ponder. Why does he keep doing that? I don't understand. So lead with Thoughtseize. Looking for a counterbalance or a counterspell, or maybe a Jace, although we have Pulse to kind of cover Jace. I'm not too worried about trying to Future Sight. Jesus, back to basics. What are these cards? Glad I played my land first, so I didn't get Flusterstormed. Future Sight. That's a hell of a card. So I could see just taking back to basics and then playing Tarmogoyf, and if he goes for Jace, he basically has to bounce Goyf, and then I can just pulse it. Alternatively, I could do the super greedy thing where I just like play a 4th land and pass if I have one, but that's probably not going to work out, because between like his top and stuff, he might be able to just find a counterspell or removal spell for this Ocean Thief. So I think I have to take back to basics, actually. Future Sight is certainly interesting. It's weird that I have to take back to basics when I have both of my basics already, but I just don't want to have to deal with that. I don't want my lands getting locked down. I think my deck is overall a little more efficient, and I need to use my mana every turn. So he tops, doesn't like what he sees, cracks his fetch. Just gets a 3rd island. Crazy. So now even if he finds a swords, he can't kill it. He's like super scared of Wasteland. I mean, also it's better for his back to basics, but still just kind of strange. And main phase topping, so that's great. Didn't find a land for Jace, I guess. I think Jace bounce Goyf would be a fine play on his end. But that does not appear to be the case. And he does find another counterbalance, though, so that's kind of bad. Although I can try my hand at pulsing this thing. And yeah, I think I have to do that. Very unlikely that he kept a 3 on top. I would probably not be expecting a 3-mana card out of my deck, but maybe that's the only thing he has. So, alright, Pulse is going to go through. We're going to add a Deathrite to the table. And I think things are going pretty well, considering we have Ancestral about to come off suspend. His Jace is kind of locked down because we have a bunch of creatures. He has not found a 4th land, and then if anything weird happens, we still have the sweet Notion Thief. So, don't mind my spot. I really don't like him not getting white, though, because getting a Tundra would have solved, or had the potential to solve a lot of his problems. He would have been able to maybe find a Terminus or something. But yeah, you can see his top cards are just so bad. 2 Entreats and a Jace, that's horrendous. So, alright, finished 3-1, beat the Miracles guy. Well, let's see what we would have drawn off Ancestral. Just out of curiosity. Bang, not bad. Him to Turok would have been great. Another Shardless Agent, yeah. We would have been in business. So, game 1 was pretty scary, and this matchup is generally pretty good, as long as you draw Abrupt Decay. They have some crazy permanents after board, back to basics, and potentially Blood Moon and whatnot, but as you see here, sometimes you just overpower them, you decay their counterbalance, and then you have the tools to fight the grindy attrition game. So there you go, 3-1, Shardless Sultai, excuse me, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.